Welcome back to another edition of the Throwback before the third quarter. Ryan Steineckert here with the legendary voice of the SUU Thunderbirds, Art Chalice. And this week, Art, the Thunderbirds hosting number 17, Abilene Christian, who comes in at, I think, just 4-3, but they're in the top 20, number 17 in the nation.
They are, and they've had some, they had a key win last week against West Georgia, the team that Southern Utah had to struggle with. And, of course, they've already talked about that, but here at halftime, we've only met this team 3 times. This is the 4th game, I think, between the two. And they've been close, although SUU did win 52-14 back in 2023, 2 years ago. And then they lost a 21-18 game against Abilene Christian the year before. So they've had some interesting games. And the T-Birds, just to review, coming off a 52-42 loss to Tarleton. And Tarleton is, as we said last week, was number 3 in the FCS. So here are the T-Birds with Tarleton, West Georgia, now Abilene Christian. This is a tough schedule.
It's a very tough schedule, and the Thunderbirds are hanging with these teams, losing close games, and that's how it's been against Abilene Christian. Thunderbirds have lost twice to the Wildcats, and both have been 3-point losses, 28-25 last year, 21-18 in 2022. But that dominant win for Southern Utah 2 years ago when they played at home, and that's an interesting note about this series. Again, just 3 games like you mentioned, but neither team has won on the road yet.
Right. And so, we'll see. It's halftime now, so we won't know the score at this point on our broadcast, but hopefully the Thunderbirds can stymie Stone Earl, the quarterback, a little bit, because last week he did throw 3 touchdown passes, and in the past 2 or 3 games he'd thrown for 4 touchdowns twice in games, and this is against pretty stiff competition. They did lose. They've not been defeated in the conference, so this is their 4th conference game, and overall they're 4-3. So they did lose a couple of games, but they beat North Alabama 52-24. So the fans are probably enjoying a game of high-scoring football. I'll just say that based on the past, and even when the Thunderbirds. Well, the one game was 52-49.
Right.
And then last week, the T-Birds gave up 52, but scored 42 of their own.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Coach Fitzgerald was really working on the defense this week with his group. But the T-Birds were 1-5 coming into this game, and they've had winning seasons the last 2 seasons. But Abilene Christian won the conference last year. So
a tough team last year. Thunderbirds hung with them 28-25. And go back to that 2 years ago when SUU won 52-14. Southern Utah's defense came up big. They had 3 interceptions. Trey Gola-Collard, A.J. Felton, and Jordan Washington each had a pick. And the defense will need to be better today than they've been in recent weeks for Southern Utah.
Yeah, and this offense for Abilene Christian has only the defense has recovered something like 4 or 5 fumbles, so that's probably been a key. And I think against West Georgia they had a couple of fumble recoveries, and those things are killers because it stops drives. And so the T-Birds would normally fare pretty well at home against this Abilene Christian team, but I look at that West Georgia game and. I guess you can't compare games because they're different, but that's why we play the games. We'll see what happens today in the second half of this game because the Thunderbirds have been excellent at scoring points in most of these games.
Oh, yeah.
And the defense has been giving up, and I know Coach Fitzgerald has said if you score 40 points or more or 30 or more, you ought to be able to win a game, right?
Ought to be in it for sure. Now, Art, you haven't broadcast the game when SUU has played against Abilene Christian, but I was looking back over the history, and you've probably broadcast most of these ones. Southern Utah is 18-21 versus teams from Texas, and that includes Abilene Christian. But look at games like 1-0 against UTEP and University of Texas San Antonio. You probably did maybe all 11 of the times that Southern Utah played against Texas State. And Southern Utah is 6-5 against that team, 4-4 versus Stephen F. Austin. Some good wins against teams from Texas overall.
Yeah, we did beat Stephen F. Austin a number of years ago, but the UTEP game was one that you kind of remember because the T-Birds played them, straight up in that game.
Yeah.
There have been others, like you point out, but 18-21 against Texas teams.
That's what I found.
That's not a bad record.
No, that's pretty good, especially when you consider the reputation of Texas football and high school Texas and filling stadiums and
all the high school players that are available for these teams.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts about Southern Utah and Abilene Christian, this history?
No, really, we don't have that much, but the history is you've got to get on these guys early, and hopefully they did in the first half, and then can keep it going in the second half, and the defense can hold this team down because they've been scoring a lot of points too. And their quarterback is one of the top quarterbacks in the FCS.
Time to turn things around if the Southern Utah can handle it. All right, Art Chalice, thanks so much as always. It's been a pleasure. This is the Throwback Before the Third.
Pleasure to talk to you and all of our fans. Go Thunderbirds.